In what police are calling a demonic attack. Authorities finding the victim, 59-year-old Randall Cook, dismembered in trash bags and his wedding ring inside the suspect Oscar Solis's home. Solis, a lengthy rap sheet, including 2 charges of burglary and battery and stabbing an inmate while in prison.
Wow. Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. It's the intro. It's that intro. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You know it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking smack addict. Bye-ya, back at it. Bye-ya, back at it. Bye-ya. Orderlies, you can tell by that thumbnail and that clip that you just seen. Wow. The crazy world we live in, huh? Menudo styles, direct fashions. I'm about to give it to you on some real stuff. Oscar Solis, an alleged MS-13 member, they're saying killed this Uber Eats driver on his very last delivery. Now, there's a lot of questions in this case. There's a lot of what ifs and why. Why would something like this happen? And all I could say is this world is crazier. It gets crazier and crazier every day. Some things are unexplainable. Sometimes when you're caught up in the heat of the moment and you're trying to do a holiday, you're trying to do a robbery or whatever you're doing, you might go overboard. You might overthink the situation, you know, depending upon if Scante comes into play or any type of drug comes into play. Your mind is not in the right place. You're not in the right state of mind, and you might be in haste, make the wrong decision, and overthink and overstep the boundary of the crime, right? Some people have the mentality when they're doing something, it's all or nothing, Holmes. They're going all out, and they just see a person as a victim, you know, a speed bump in the road, and that's just the way it is. Now, what happened with this guy, Oscar Solis, is he did time, an extensive amount of time in the Indiana prison system. Now, I can't sit here and speak on the Midwest because I don't know too much about doing time in Indiana, but from what I heard from people, it's definitely a dangerous situation, a dangerous place, just like any other prison system. Being incarcerated it's not a good time. Okay, it's filled with boredom, envy, hatred, hopelessness, desolation, all the bad feelings that you think can culminate and come into one thing. It's just a brewing pot of anger, right? So having done time there, and they allege that he is an MS-13 member, they have a different philosophy and a different way of thinking. These vatos are notoriously known to handle their business and get off where they're mad at, sometimes where they're not even mad at. But I don't want to put this on the gang aspect and say that the gang had anything to do with this man's frame of mind or what he was thinking. He just definitely was alleged to be involved with that group. Now, doing his 4 or 5 years that he did while incarcerated in Indiana prison, or in, I guess, Indiana prisons, he definitely got associated with the group and chose to have that mentality. You know, I don't know what that man was thinking, what was going through his mind frame. I could only give you an example saying that, you know, when you're all in, you're all in. You know, you definitely make up the rules as you go along, and you decide what necessary steps you're going to take to have yourself and become involved in the situation, and how far you're going to go. If you're going to push it to the limit on some Scarface shit, or if you're just going to fall back. This guy definitely and allegedly pushed it to the limit. So after doing that time, he gets out and goes to move in with his father, who's located in Tampa Bay, Florida. And the word on the curb is his father felt a different type of aura coming from his son, a different type of mentality, and he wanted to get himself out of that situation. You know, I could tell you guys a little story, a trippy story. I get out of prison. This is a long time ago, and I moved in with my jefita. I had nowhere else to go. You know, I didn't have a dollar not to make you holla, man. I was broker than Baby Joker, but at the same time, I wanted to go out there and do the right thing, but I still was stuck in that active mentality. I still wanted to gangbang. I wanted to have my cake and eat it too. I wanted to play both sides of the fence. I wanted to be a gang member in the evening and during the day be a hard worker. It just doesn't work out that way, right? For some maybe, but I didn't know that recipe. And I remember my jefita saying that I came out with a different type of mentality. I came out with the mentality, it was a cunning, slick, conniving, greedy mentality. I wanted everything. And I felt, that I had that coming rather than just working for it. And she necessarily, and her and a lot of my family didn't want to be around me because the aura that I was putting off, no, Wes Watson, not that weird aura, right? But the aura I was putting off was just bad. It was bad. So I could understand this guy's situation, the father of Oscar Solis, feeling that same aura, feeling that your son just gets out of prison. Maybe he's institutionalized. Maybe he's not all there. He's on a different, he's on a different height, and he distanced himself. He moved out of his own home and left because his son was just doing too much. Now, Randall Cook was just a regular family man. Someone who had just moved into the area with his wife. According to what his stepdaughter said, I seen a interview with her and several other people, man, he was just a regular guy, regular Joe Schmo. Just a guy out there working for his family, trying to make ends meet, trying to support his people. This Uber Eats thing, these Uber drivers, this is a phenom. This is what happens now. This is what everyone's getting into. It's a way to make fast money. But you never know who you pick up or who you meet or whose food you drop off at that door. I know plenty of times I've ordered DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever it is, and my food has come wrong, and I complain to people, so scared, I ordered 2 cheeseburgers. So scared, I got a cheeseburger and a hamburger. No, I ain't having that. I already ate it, but that's not the point. And of course, they give you the credit back. But what happens if you bring something to somebody and it's wrong and they take it out on you? They're upset with you, like you had something to do with it, like you prepared the order. They think you ate their fucking hamburger from AM PM on the way back, right? There's just so many different circumstances. So it's a dangerous situation. You never know if you're an Uber driver, who you pick up, what they're on, what their intentions are. I see a lot of videos where Uber drivers are getting robbed, getting kissed upon, just all kinds of things. So you never know. That person might be drinking Bud Light, you might be drinking Coors Light, and there's a conflict of interest there, right? Now, trip out, guard. Are you drinking a Bud Light? Do your thing, brother. Do your thing. Now, look. This guy, Oscar Solis, I guess he calls in an order. And Randy Cook just got it's like a lottery, man. That his number just came up. He was in the area. And it was his last call of the night. He was just trying to go home. And so he went over there to deliver this guy's food. Or whatever this guy had ordered. Somewhere in between the time of him pulling up and the time of Oscar Solis answering the door, there was words exchanged. To what degree words, one doesn't know. We don't know Oscar Solis' mentality. Now, one thing I'll say before I say that is that this is an alleged crime. I don't want to say that he did this or he didn't do it. But, they found a lot of evidence. So it seems like 9 times out of 10, he will definitely be convicted. Anyways, we don't know. But this guy definitely pulls up just to deliver his food or whatever it may be that he ordered. And there was words exchanged to which Randall Cook was pulled into the home. What the authorities are saying, that it was an alleged robbery gone wrong. Maybe this guy didn't want to break bread like Jesus said. He didn't want to separate his from Oscar's. And it became a situation where the next day, Randy Cook's family, he never came home. Of course, they went to the authorities. They're making missing person reports. This just ain't like him. But when you're a grown man, the authorities are not going to really focus too much. He could have had a chick on the side. And he could be getting that good mom one from a 350 pounder, right? You just never know. The arbitration is real, right? He could be getting some Arby's. But they definitely took this, not with a grain of salt, but they put some for realness behind it. And they looked into it. And, with nowadays, and this is what I tell people, it's hard to do a crime, a murder, anything like that. You're 9 times out of 10, you're not getting away with it. That's it. There's cameras everywhere. There's Ring cameras. There's CCTV cameras. There's cameras on the local 7-Eleven. Sounds like at AM, PM. You might see a crackhead smoking the pipa while getting a mamon. You're just going to see everything. You're going to see a homeless vato taking a cagada right there on the sidewalk. They get to see it all. That's it. They get more content than we get. Make shorts and you'll come up. Now, they actually backtracked the recordings and figured out that the last place that he went was Oscar Solis. So they definitely went and questioned him. Of course, hey, almost, I don't know shit, right? He didn't know nothing, had never seen this guy. But they backtracked the logs and realized that there was a call made, the last call, meaning that this was the last guy that had contact with them, physical contact that they knew. So they watched him. They sat down on him. And the next day he went to go throw garbage bags out. And they noticed the size of the garbage bags, that he was throwing a lot of garbage bags out. So of course they went, got the search warrant to search, and they found remains of Randy Cook cut up, in these trash bags. Upon that, they got a warrant, went into this home, arrested, Oscar Solis on suspicion of murder or suspicion of foul play. And they found this guy's wedding ring, his wallet, and pieces of them in a freezer. Now, when this initial report came out, people were saying, hey, the vato ate him like a cannibal. And that's not to be the case. That's to be determined. He definitely, I believe, was trying to get rid of some type of evidence there, and went all out. Like I said, when you find yourself in a situation, I found myself in several situations, not saying that I ate anybody or cut anybody up. I'm just saying. Or did I? One never knows, does one. But I'm telling you right now, I did it, right? But I found myself in several situations where things happen fast, things move fast, and you kind of get caught up in the moment and you lose yourself in the moment. You're on some Eminem shit. You lose yourself, right? And you don't throw up mon spaghetti, but you definitely lose yourself. And what happens is things just start to go fast. Now, I'm not saying this guy's mentality wasn't a killer mentality, because obviously, he had a lengthy rap sheet in prison, stabbings, pegadas. Definitely was putting in work for his people. That's a fact. When you're incarcerated, you have to turn animalistic. You have to turn into that. But one thing I always tell everyone is we're not a bloodthirsty people, Holmes. We're not animals, right? But just sometimes you have to become animalistic because of the environment that you're in. Now, when you're on the streets and you're faced with adversity in a certain situation, that's totally up to you and your mindset and the knowledge that you got in college or didn't, to understand what that situation is, to dissect it and move slowly rather than fast with a purpose. Because if you overstep and you do too much, what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself in a situation like Oscar, where he felt probably, and this is just allegedly, more than likely that he had to, take care of this guy. Now, whether if it was a robbery gone bad and this guy fought back, wasn't giving up his wedding ring, wasn't giving up what little money he had. He's an Uber Eats driver, so he doesn't have much money. Most guys that take these jobs, it's either something that they do as a hobby to make ends meet, or they really ain't having it like that, Not saying that there ain't much money in it. I'm just saying that's a whole different story for a whole different piece of content. Definitely this guy did get caught up and involved in, what looked like a bad robbery. Ultimately, he lost his life. Now, whether or not there was more people involved or Oscar Solis did this on his own is yet to be determined. You think of stories like this, it's like, wow, it boggles your mind, man. You're just trying to work, raise your family, do your thing, and you get snatched up in a house and killed by a guy who looks like he's a killer, allegedly. Now, the stories I heard about him being a cannibal and eating, there's no merit to that. There's nothing that said that he consumed this guy or that he's, ingested this guy's lengua. It just didn't happen. But one thing I know for sure is the people that are saying, oh, it's because he's an MS-13 member is why he did this, and he did this at the benefit of that gang. That's absolutely furthest from the truth. Every man thinks independent. Just because you're a gang member or an alleged gang member and you have a few tattoos on you doesn't make you a bad person. Doesn't just right off the top make you the man that's going to dismember and eat somebody or kill somebody and throw them in the freezer or throw them in trash bags. People jump to them conclusions just based on tacas. I've been stereotyped many a times because of my tattoos, the way I look. When I was just trying to go get a pinche pack of frajos, I wasn't even trying to do too much. I was just trying to give me a pack of frajos, a 7-Up, and a tostada de ceviche. And next thing you know, I'm in the back of a cop car all jacked up just because I have a Cadillac tattoo. What does that mean? What does that mean? Shit, it means I'm riding luxury, eh? You know what I mean? What if it was Mercedes? Would you fuck with me? Fuck with me then. Right? And that's just how it is. It's definitely a crazy story, this one. Not because of where he's from, allegedly, or because of his past criminal history, because what type of vato will do that to an innocent man? I've always learned as a gang member that civilians are off limits, right? If someone's just out there living their best life, they're just doing their thing, man. They're not caught up in they didn't sign up for this. I understand bullets fly and sometimes innocent people get hurt. That's casualties of war. It happens. You can't be blamed for it. If it's child, well, so scared, so you're in trouble, right? But things happen, in life. Such is life, such is the world that we live in. But, and even robberies, man, of course you're going to look for the easiest prey, the easiest victim. But this was just an unnecessary case, man. This was very unnecessary. This happened and it blew my mind, and I want to speak on it. A lot of people ask me to touch on it. What do I feel? Why do I think he did this? Hey, I can't give you the answers. I don't know if this Vato didn't have 2 pennies to pinch, right? I don't know if this Vato was broke or was under the influence or something. And I don't even know if this Vato did it, to tell you the truth. Just because he has a devil horns and some fucking tattoos on his face doesn't mean he's a killer. Doesn't mean necessarily that he's the one that did it. Anyone could have did it. Let's say he could have thought he was taking out the trash. And meanwhile, his primos in there like a gangster, that really did some shit. You just don't know. There's so many different what ifs. And people are quick to judge based on how a person looks or a person's past. But there's been plenty of people that changed. If you look at my criminal record in my past, you would think I'm Diablo himself, right? But I'm furthest from that. I'm a firm believer in a higher power, and I'm a firm believer in just going out there and working hard for my people and for my family. So we don't know what type of hype this guy was on or where he was at with it, but definitely he is being charged with it. It's a very gruesome and heinous crime. Condolences to the family. Imagine you're just a regular family. Your stepfather or husband or whatever, he's just doing some Uber Eats, man. He ain't doing too much. He's just trying to give you your chili dog. That's it. And because the glizzy wasn't what you wanted, next thing you know, his head is in your refrigerator. It's unfortunate. It's not a laughing matter. It's truth. It really happens. And it's definitely some people wanted me to touch on. Do I think it's gang related? Absolutely not. I don't think the gang plays no parts in this. No bearings. I think this was an independent man having independent thoughts. Now, you don't even know what led up to this. This guy might not be all there. Some people they're not right in their mind, Holmes. They have different ways of thinking. They need medication or something in their life. Maybe sit down, drink a Bud Light. I don't know, But at the same time, this definitely is a big story out of Tampa Bay, Florida, But as far as the people saying that he got eaten and all that, nah, that's not true, eh? He didn't eat that vato. I don't know what he did, but he definitely was found in this guy's home. They've done interviews with the father of Oscar Solis. He said that his son was a little bit off when he got out. That's why he left. They've done interviews with, the stepdaughter of the guy killed. And unfortunately, she's sad. What do you expect? Imagine if it's one of your family members, you would definitely be grieving and not in the right frame of mind. Anyways, with that being said, hey, this is the world we live in. Pay attention to what's going on around you. You never know what your neighbor's got going on. Sometimes I hear a little yelling and screaming. I look out, it's none of my business. I'm just trying to do my own thing and pay attention to my own. But sometimes, I'm not saying you have to be Captain Save-A-Ho or the hero, but sometimes you want to keep your ears open with less earwax than you actually have, because what's going on over there can affect what's going on over here. And that's definitely what you don't want in life. So if this guy, Oscar Solis, does get convicted of this crime, ultimately it's looking that way. When body parts are found in your house and in trash bags that you're throwing out, the proof is in the Jello pudding pop. Bill Cosby, right? So that if he does get convicted, it's looking like life in prison. One thing I'll say about Florida is a death penalty state. Florida, they will roast you. So he's probably going to be roasted and toasted. And that's just how that looks. I'm hoping, all persons involved, the family members that are grieving, can get over this tragedy. Never forget, but forgive. And for this individual, man, I wish him the best. But at the same time, you can't go cutting people up, for a wedding ring. It's just not a good look. Anyways, it's not gang related. He didn't need them. We don't even know what he did. With that being said, I hope that you move forward with a purpose. Get every single thing that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, this is a crazy world, eh? You know what I mean? Jerry Springer's dead. Money Sign Sway got killed in prison, hit in the neck. Vatos are getting eaten. You can't even fucking deliver, like I said, a corn dog and a large cream soda. You're going to get whacked. It can happen anytime, any place, and it happens definitely anywhere. I just hate the look that it puts on the brown man and tattoos, because I heard everything. It's because he was Mexican. It's because he had tattoos. He's from MS-13. It's because of this. Hey, Holmes, what about the DC snipers? Remember that? What about that white Bud Light drinker that went to that school? It could be anything or anyone, man. Don't blame the brown man. It's just 'cause we didn't do shit, eh? You know what I mean? At least I didn't. With that being said, go out there and get it. If you like this, hit that like and subscribe. If not, you can hit me with the thumbs down. See, Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. There's a notification bell. I'm asking that you guys like and subscribe to my channel and to Gunner's profiles as well. And I'm also asking that you hit me up. And with that notification bell, just tap that one time, so that you get notified of all the dope content that I'm bringing, and I'm going to continue to bring it. While you sing it, I bring it. You know what it is. This is the Gun. I hope I answered a lot of your questions, and ain't this a trip? Damn. Bang, bang.